judge is going to give a baby to someone with my medical track record. Jackson even put out feelers about buying one.
People do it all the time.
Mama, I want a child of my own. I think it would help things a lot.
I see.
Mama, I don't think Jackson and I have given this a lot of thought. You can't go through life if all you do is worry, and you worry too much. In some ways, it's comforting to me. I never worry, because I know you're worrying enough for both of us. Jackson and I have given this a lot of thought.
Has he really? Well, there's a first time for everything.
Don't start on Jackson!
Shelby, your poor body has been through so much. Why would you deliver?
Mama, diabetics have healthy babies all the time.
But you're special. There are limits to what your body can do.
Mama, I have it all planned. I'm going to be careful. And at this time, next year, I'm going to be bringing your healthy grandbaby to the Christmas festival. No one's going to be hurt, disappointed, or even inconvenienced.
Least of all Jackson, I'm sure.
You're jealous because you no longer have any say-so in what I do, and that drives you up the wall. You're ready to spit nails because you can't call the shots.
I did not raise my daughter to talk to me this way.
Yes, you did. Whenever any of us asked you what you wanted us to be when we grew up, what did you say?
Shelby, I'm not in the mood for games.
Just tell me what you said. Just answer me.
I said all I wanted was for you to be happy.
Okay, the thing that would make me happy is to have a child of my own. If I could adopt one, I would, but I can't. I'm going to have a baby, and I wish you'd be happy.
I don't know what I wish.
Mama, I look at having this baby as an opportunity of a lifetime. Sure, there may be some risk involved. That's true for anybody. We get through it, and life goes on. And in the end, there'll be a little piece of immortality, Jackson's looks, and my sense of style, I hope. Mama, please, I need your support. I'd rather have 30 minutes of wonderful than a lifetime of nothing special.
18 months later, Shelby is visiting her friend Shruvi at a beauty salon. Shelby, when are you going to bring that baby of yours by?
Oh, I brought pictures. Let me show you.
Has he gained any weight?
Oh, he weighs about 15 pounds now.
God, he's a tiny thing.
He weighed 1.5 pounds when he was born. Then he'll catch up. Give him time.
Those were some anxious hours, weren't they? We didn't know who to worry about more, you or that baby.
Certainly wouldn't recommend having a baby 3 months premature.
I get upset thinking about it.
Then let's don't. Yep, Jack Jr.'s a little fighter. I sure don't know where he gets all that energy.
Don't try to do it all yourself. Get that husband of yours to help. They're supposed to be helping out this decade.
He helps. Some of the time. Mama doesn't think he does, but he does. When he thinks about it. Which isn't very often. And most of the time he doesn't do a damn thing. And every weekend he's off hunting.
Shelby, what have you done?
Oh, it doesn't hurt.
Shelby, what's going on?
The doctor's just been trying to strengthen my veins. They're in terrible shape.
Tell me what's going on, honey.
It's my dialysis.
How long have you been doing this dialysis?
For a couple of months.
I can't believe you didn't say anything. This is selfish. This is very selfish of you.
You're talking like this is something.
This isn't something?
Having Jack Jr. put too much strain on my kidneys, and now they're kaput. That's all. The doctor said this would probably happen.
That's all? That's all you say?
I'm responding beautifully. Do I look bad?
No, you look beautiful, honey, but do you do this dialysis forever?
I suppose I could, but that's not real convenient when you're trying to keep up with a 15-month qualifier. I'll just have a kidney transplant and I'll be fine.
But the hard part's finding the kidney, ain't it?
I suppose, but Mama's going to give me one of hers. We check in tomorrow.
Poor Shelby.
Don't say that. If this is the part of the price I have to pay, then I'll pay it. I can deal with it. Several months later.
After the transplant failed, Shelby went back on dialysis. Things were fine for a few months, but last Monday everything fell apart. It was like dominoes. They thought they could cure things with a little surgery. As they wheeled her down, Shelby said, "Mahler, I'm going to feel so good when this is all over." And they gave her the anesthetic. It's interesting. Both boys were difficult births. Shelby was a breeze. I could have left the afternoon I had her. I was thinking about that as I sat next to Shelby while she was in a coma. I worked her arms and her legs. I told her ICU nurse we were doing our Jane Fonda. I kept pushing like I always had when Shelby was concerned, hoping she'd sit up and argue with me like she used to. But we realized there was no hope. At that point, I panicked. I didn't know if I was going to survive the next few moments as they shut off the machines. Drum couldn't take it. He had to leave. Jackson couldn't take it. He left too. It struck me as amusing. Men are supposed to be made of steel or something, but I couldn't leave. I just sat there, holding Shelby's hand. As the sounds got softer and the beats got farther apart. Until all was quiet. No noise. No tremble. Just peace. At that point, I realized how lucky I was as a woman. I was there when this wonderful person drifted into my life, and I was there when she drifted out. It was the most precious moment of my life thus far.
A battlefield is often a place of great courage. This selection tells the courage of Tom and Sergeant Joe. Sergeant Joe, by Josephine Holefield. It was on the streets of Saigon we walked, my buddy Tom and me. We were headed for the compound. Along a narrow street, we heard a moaning sound muffled against the coming night. "It's Baby," said Tom. "We can't feed them all," I said. "There are hundreds of starving kids in this blasted city." But Tom stopped in his sheltered doorway, and thereupon a heap of rags to the source of all the racket, almost too weak to lift his head. A tiny, half-grown dog. Tom lifted the shivering beast and pressed him close against his chest beneath his GI coat. He held him there, safe and warm, while he sang his favorite tune. Oh, beautiful, full, spacious skies, for amber waves of green. When he finished, he grinned and said, "Isn't it beautiful? America, home, good old USA." When the sergeant saw the mangy puppy, he put his foot down hard. "There's no place in this man's Marine Corps for a fleeing Vietnamese dog." Then he must have seen the look of forlorn hopelessness in Tom's eyes. Or better yet, perhaps he once had a dog. "Keep him from underfoot and share your rations with him." I will! When he moved into a battle area, Tom carefully carried his dog. "I calm Joe for all the Marines gone before. Just you wait and see. He'll be mascot someday, Company B." The days were nightmares, and the nights were worse. The Viet Cong shells before and behind. We couldn't see them, but we felt their fierce anger amid the bursting shells and sniper cleverness. Once, our communication lines were cut. With trembling fingers, Tom tied one end of the wire to Joe's collar that he'd fashioned from a belt. Then he said, "Go find the men, Joe." We watched with indrawn breath as Joe belly collared across the open space. A message came across the wire. "He made it! He made it!" Loud and clear. 3 hours later, when the last Viet Cong was routed from his hiding place across the distant valley, the sergeant said, "Joe, I promote you. From now on, let everyone know and see. You'll be known as Sergeant Joe, mascot of Company B." 2 days later, another battle raged. We'd holed up in a ruined, deserted village where we thought we'd be safe for a while. But the Viet Cong got wind of us, and they were forcing behind us and all around. It looked like curtains for Company B. Then across the open space, we saw Sergeant Joe begin to crawl, and to go walking stiffly, his back a bristle. It was why Viet Cong forgot us. They only saw a moving target there in plain sight, so they cut loose with a mighty burst of fire, and we could see where they hid against the hill. Then we let them have it, our concentrated shell fire, our battle cry, "Clean them out! Clean them out!" In the clearing smoke, we could see Sergeant Joe. He lay there, his tail wagging slightly. He'd been badly hit, but his bravery had saved the day in all our hides. "I'm going after him." Tom stood up. "Go me if you can." "I'm coming, Joe!" And with one mighty effort, he ran, bent staggered away from the sniper fire. But they got him. We heard the bullets hit. A sickening sound of lead against human flesh. Then we saw him fall close beside Sergeant Joe. All day he lived. We could see him move sometimes. We dared not venture out. And as the night closed in over the scene, we heard the sound of singing, drifting across the hills. It was Tom, singing and halting in clear tones. His favorite tune. Oh, beautiful. all was quiet. And when at last we knew for sure we had silenced the enemy guns and they had fled, cautiously we made our way out to where Tom and Sergeant Joe lay. Tom held the little dog close in his arms. His eyes were glazed with pain. When he saw me, he smiled and said,
"Do you think the beds will have sheets where I'm going? Sheets are soft and cool. I like the coolness."
I held my buddy Tom in my arms when he died. We buried Tom and Sergeant Joe side by side on the slope of Vietnamese Hill. The chaplain said a prayer and we all softly sang Tom's favorite tune. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain. And quietly we filed away to take our bows down once again. First Tom once had said,
"We will. We gotta win."
So this is my story. A story I'll always remember wherever I go. The story of a Marine named Tom and a brave dog named Joe.
Christmas is nearly upon us, and once again I've neglected to patent my gifts for outdoorsman invention, early enough to get them out on the market. Next year. For now I merely tantalize you with the descriptions of the delights that lay in store for you next Christmas. My Wives on Christmas Morn by Patrick F. McManus. The handy-dandy hook remover. This item relieves anglers of the worst chore related to fishing. It weighs 80 pounds, consists of an air-cooled gas-powered engine, an air compressor, a heavy-duty cutter, a ripper, and a gouger. No more will you have to suffer the frustrations of trying to remove hooks and lures from the plastic bubble packages they are sold in. Exercise machine for outdoorsmen. My invention combines the major components of stationary bicycling, rowing machines, cross-country skiing machines, and weightlifting apparatus. The way it works is you balance on a slick stainless steel bar that stimulates a peeled log. Then a 150-pound weight drops onto your back. The bar under your feet begins to spin, and as you run to stay on top of it, plastic branches slap you in the face. Now you are totally exhausted and begin to collapse. This triggers a lever that causes the machine to throw you against the far wall. Deer and elk hauler. Numerous devices have been invented to help pack deer and elk out of the mountains, but most are cumbersome and still require considerable labor. My invention is simple, small enough to be carried in the pocket, and will sell for a measly $1.98. When the time comes for you and your companions to pack out a large game animal, simply remove the hauler from your pocket and show it to your companions. It looks like an authentic pharmaceutical prescription bottle with the words "Heart Medicine" entitled, large enough to be read from 10 feet away. Then all you have to say is, "Well, I better take a couple of my heart pills." And your share, the deer or elk, will be hauled on out to the hunting vehicle as if by magic. It is important, though, that your hunting partners be compassionate and civilized people. Because when I tested the hauler out of my friend Rex Sweeney, he growled, "You better take that whole dang bottle full, because I ain't gonna pack this thing out of here by myself."